Hello everybody, welcome to Nana's Journey, and today we are going to do month 3 of the Summer Moon Block of the Month by Carrie Nelson. And we are going to be doing the Bear Track block on page 10, the Buzzards Roost block on page 14, and the Crown of Thorns on page 22. And these are the fabrics I am using for the Bear Track, which we're going to do first. The background we're using this month is, I'm using 22, Guess How Much I Love You. And before I start on the block, let me just tell you that I've noticed that on the small frame, when you're making the block, for J and K, she has you cutting out 16 of each of those. It only needs to be 8 of each. And then 16C, which is correct. And then that will give you the blocks you need. So there's that correction. And for the bear block, I'm using 2, 8, 10, and 18. Okay, now I've got to tell you, I made the small and the medium of the bear block. And those were really hard. Here's the small. Let me get this in better. Okay, so here's the small. And these are very tiny pieces. And you'll notice I've lost a lot of my points. This, when I made it, was much larger, not much, but like 3/8 of an inch larger than what it should have been. So it was very frustrating to try and cut that down and not lose my blocks. So that was really hard. And then I thought I was done, and I realized I put these in the wrong direction. I had the angles, the seams going this direction. So just remember, if you have this corner right, you know, with the print pointing towards your block, actually all the prints are pointing towards your block, all these seams should be angled the same direction. That's not so for the bear block, but just for this frame. So, but I did get it finished. This I made smaller, so that I didn't have to trim this down even more. And the same with the medium. I couldn't get it. If I wanted my points, then these two here, these three, would be more rectangles than squares. And they, in fact, they already are. That one's bad right there. But I'm not redoing it. You're not going to notice this when the quilt is all put together. So for the large, I have increased the pieces. Here's all the pieces cut for. They had, the L is for large, because I cut all my pieces ahead of time. A and D go together like this, and then you mark your lines with a 1/2 inch ruler. Draw a line on each side, cut down the middle, you know, after you sew on the lines, cut down the middle, and you've got 2 half square triangles. The problem was, once I sewed this and cut it and pressed it, there was no room for error. And so when I sew half square triangle, they do not come out perfectly square. I have to trim them because sometimes they're a little wonky. And this measurement did not allow for that. It wanted your pieces to come out perfectly square. So I redid these. These are put together because I was talking to my daughter and granddaughter, and I forgot that I was supposed to be recording. So, but that's what I did. I took I increased both of these pieces, so I had to recut them out 1/4 of an inch. So pieces A and D are 1/4 inch larger than what it says in the book. I drew my lines, cut them out, and I was using this ruler, which was not a good choice, because what I needed was a 45-degree line that starts at the corner, because I have to work, you know, I have to work from the corner. So, but if you have one like this, where the 45-degree line is in the corner, this would be great. And then what I did is I took a Post-it, cut a square out, and then I could, you know, just tape it where it ended, you know, so that I could see the whole square. So I just trimmed the first corner, and then when I turned it, I matched what I just cut to this, and they came out the right size. So I had plenty to trim. So they are now the right size, and I hope I didn't just confuse you. But anyways, I had to make them larger so that I can trim them down to the right size. These are cut to the exact right size, E, F, and everything else is the right size, except I did make C. The length, I just made it to the nearest inch or 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or whatever they were, because they all dealt with eighths. There's a lot of eighths in here that drives me nuts. So I just made it to the nearest inch and figure I can trim it off later. And I made these frames. There's the shorter frames, here's the longer frames, you know, for each side. The lengths are still the correct size, but I made them 1/4 inch wider so that I can just trim it down when it's done. This one is just part of the empty square. So these are all cut the exact size. These I cut a 1/4 inch larger. This one I lengthened to the nearest inch, and the frames are 1/4 inch wider so that I could trim down. So I hope that makes sense. If you're using her measurements, good luck. I could not get them to work out. So I don't know if it's the pattern or if it's me. I did get a comment from one lady who was doing this quilt with her local quilt club, and she said it was really hard. I hadn't gotten to this block yet, and so I didn't understand quite what she was talking about. But yes, if you're using her measurements, it is really hard, and you have to be very precise and exact. So by making things a little larger and trimming them down to the right size, that might make it a little easier. So I've got my half square triangles done, which means we can put our block together, because that's all there is to do before putting your block together. And we've done half square triangles many times. So let's get over to the sewing machine. Okay, this is how our bear claw, this is how I'm laying mine out. You can put your colors wherever you want. But these triangles, go this way, the seams all go this way, the colors pointing towards these. So we're going to make one block first and see if we can get it to come out the right size. Okay. And we've got these pressed. This this way, and this way so that they will nest. Now we just need to add this one, and this one. Okay, now we're going to nest our seams. And I am pressing these 2 rows towards the middle. Okay, there's our block. They're easy to do, but is it the right size? Let me check. Okay, it turns out I just had to do a little bit of squaring up, just very slight trimming, and they came out to the right size. So that was nice. So I don't know, maybe I should have started with the large, learned my lesson, and then gone on to the smaller ones. I'm going to put C in, piece C, and you can see I made that just a tiny bit longer. It's not much. I don't even know if you can see that. So I'm going to put this in and attach, both of these units to it, and then measure again to see if this comes out right, because this should come out at 8 inches. Okay, let me get that measured. And this one was the same length as this one, so I must not have trimmed it good enough. Okay, I took this off and I just cut an 1/8 inch off. That goes this way. And then that'll make it the right size. And I don't have to trim anything off and start losing more points that I'm already going to lose. These ones go this way. We'll put that there. Okay, now we've got to do these ones. Remember, I trimmed an 1/8 inch off of these, and this is the center block, so I also had to make this 1/8 inch smaller. So put these together and make this strip, and then I will be pressing towards the background. Okay, so that's going to go in between, and we are going to nest our seams and put this together. And then you are pressing towards the sashing. Okay, there we have our square. Now I just have to put it in its frames, and then we can get started on the next block. Okay, the Buzzards Roost is just a bunch of flying geese around a center block. Now, I tried one out, and if you go perfectly from corner to corner you know, and it turns out just right, then it's the exact right size. But I am going to go ahead and keep going. I'll show you what I did. I put in my single hole switch plate to help so that the corners don't go in. I'm going to use my sew line tape so the corner will go from the needle to the red. And just line this right up. If I drew a line, I would sew just to the side of the line. So I'm going to start with the leader here. Now, when you fold it back, if you see any background, you know, if there's spaces that you can see when you fold this up, then you'll need to resew it. But if you fold it and it covers everything and it's still making this the rectangle, then you're good to go. So I'm going to press that and trim it. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And these are odd size flying geese, so I can't do the 4 at a time because I don't know the chart for that or the measurements to do that. Okay, now I can still see edges here, so I'm going to take that off and move my seam. That's better. Okay, so that's how we're going to do. We're going to turn all of these into flying geese. And then I will be back. Okay, I've got the flying geese done, and this is how I'm going to arrange it. So I'm just going to start with these. And aside from these two, everything else is going to be pressed open, or supposed to be pressed. These are supposed to be pressed open too, but I'm not going to. These two I'm going to press to the center. Okay, I've got this piece finished, and they are pressed towards the center. And now I'm going to take these two, and when I go side by side, I take one of the pieces and I fold it the opposite direction so that these can nest right here. So I'm going to press that down so it's easier to sew. And those seams will get opened. Those will get opened, and I'll do the same thing with this one. Oh. Well, these ones are way different sizes, so I hope it works. That will get pressed open. Okay. What was this? It's green and yellow. Oh, I put these, I got these on the wrong direction. I want the green here and the yellow here. Okay, there we go, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to attach those. Okay, now while that is sitting under the clapper, I'm going to put these two together. Okay, I'm going to iron these open and then I will attach these two. What I'm going to do is, you can see where this point is on the other side, and I'm going to poke a pin there and at the tip of this here. Match those up. Okay, then I'm going to press these open. I'm going to do the same thing to this middle. This middle flying geese matches these two right here. And that one will get pressed open. That didn't match up too good. Okay, let me get these pressed open and then I will give it a little trim and put the frame on, and I'll be back. Okay, I trimmed this down as much as I dared, and it is a 1/4 inch square more than it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new one of these. I cut the B piece a 1/4 inch longer. I'm going to start the A piece here at this corner here. Okay, and there is our Buzzards Roost for the small. Now let's get to the next block. Okay, next is the Crown of Thorns on page 22. And the first thing I'm going to do is put C and E together. We're going to sew along the lines of the length, and they get pressed towards the print. Okay, I've got my pieces marked for half square triangles. Now I'm just going to sew just on the inside of the line. Okay, I'll just keep separating these, and then I will cut down the middle. I'll press them open and then trim them to size, and I'll be back. Okay, now that we've got these trimmed, we're going to make this unit. It's going to go in these corners. So I need to make 4. I'm going to show you how to do one, and then I will do the others off camera, and then we will get our block put together. I forgot to mention, I think, that this is the medium block. The green is pressed towards the background, the one that's going to go in the corner, whichever fabric you choose, and the rest are pressed towards the print. Oh, I pressed that one the wrong side. Okay, so we've got these two pieces. This is pressed this way, and this is pressed this way. Now they will nest. Okay, now that one will go there. Let me make the others. Also, a note, when I cut out the squares for this to make the half square triangles, I did increase it 1/8 of an inch, which brought it to the nearest whole inch. But I think if I had done an extra 1/4 inch, it would have been easier. Most of these were trimmed really, really close to the right size, but there are a few, because I'm not a perfect sewer, that were a little wonky that went under the measurement. So I would have wanted them just a little bit bigger so that I could trim it down to size. So let me get these put together and I'll be right back. Okay, now we have all the units for our block, and we just put it together like a 9-patch. Okay, you're going to press these rows to the center and the middle towards the outside. Okay, now I just need to put the frame on and we will have it done. And just a reminder that if you want to know how to do the frames, to watch the first video. It's shown on there. Okay, there we have it. The blocks made, both small, medium, and large, and they're framed. This is the Bear Track, the Buzzards Roost, and Crown of Thorns. And if you're having trouble with the half square triangles, just remember to cut the initial squares a little larger. Then once you get them made, you can trim them down to the correct size, and that will help. And I want to thank you for joining me. And let me know if you're doing this as well and how it's going. And I hope to see you next time on Nana's Journey.